Hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we're back with another UFC Apex card. Let me give you a little bit of background information on this card. Keep in mind as well too, we will not be going over every fight here because a lot of fights fell off, a lot of fights aren't there, a lot of fights are short notice. The main reason why one of my major problems with Apex cards is this is supposed to be in Saudi Arabia. They said, no, this card sucks. The Saudi princes did. As they began good fights over there. They had the PFL versus Bellator event, which was very good, by the way. They're having the Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua event. And then we tried to give them, and by we I mean the UFC, tried to give them Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Shamil Gaziev. What? What? By the way, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he has more UFC main events than any current UFC champion other than John Jones. He has more main events than Islam Makhachev. He has more main events than Dricus du Plessis. Alessandro Pantoja? Tom Aspinall? Okay. Yeah, that's why. They booted it. They moved it to Vegas. A lot of the fights just didn't survive along with it. But we'll be going over the fights that did survive. Keep in mind, I'm only going over the fights that I had notes about that were existing. There are a few that we won't be going over, like the Klein-Cunningham one. But first fight, let's get into it. We have Abdul Karim Al-Salwadi versus Loik Radzhabov. Not much on Loik, not much on Abdul. Abdul is a pretty solid fighter. He seems like he's a very well-rounded fighter. Very generic, yes, I know. But I did really like his last performance. It was against George Hardwick on the Contender Series where he was a massive underdog. He looked great. He looked phenomenal. Beyond that, Fury FC, Brave FC. They're like B-League promotions that UFC loves to poach from, and he looked okay in those, but it's nothing where I'm like, he's jump out the page against me. And then Loik Radzhabov, not very good. He didn't look very good against Rebexi, and he didn't look really good against Rivovic. He's a solid fighter. It's just that I don't think he's anything really special, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't think Abdul is anything really special so far, to be honest with you, so far. So I'm going to be going with the guy with more experience than Loik, but that's not a high confidence pick. Not something I'm really betting on. Abdul is going to be the favorite in this fight because, yeah, Loik didn't look really good. But I'm just going to bet on the UFC experience. Like I said, we'll not be going over Klein versus Cunningham. I believe Cunningham's out. But we will be looking at Christian Leroy Duncan versus Claudio Ribeiro. Now, this is a hard fight to go off of, but this is hard because these guys are more well-known and we know what they like to do. Claudio Ribeiro is powerful. This man hits hard. He's got really powerful hooks. He's got power for days. And that's about it. Other than that, he's not an insanely good fighter. The best guy he knocked out was Joseph Holmes. Beyond that, he got knocked out by Kopylov. Kopylov was leagues better than him as a striker. And then he got knocked out by Abdul Razak Hassan. So this boy, he's susceptible to getting knocked out. Christian Leroy Duncan is a pretty solid fighter. I really want to hate on him because he beat Dusko Todorovic. I like Dusko because he's a Serbian, and there's not many good Serbian fighters. And the Serbian fighters we do have, I usually end up rooting against them because they fight fighters I like better. I'm looking at you, Alexander Rakic. Rooted against him when he fought Jan. Now I'm rooting against him when he fights Yeri. But regardless, Christian Leroy Duncan took out Dusko. He then got beat up by Armen Petrosyan, someone who I'm pretty high on. I think is a really good fighter. And then his fight against Dennis Tulun. Yep, he looked really good. Knocked him out. Cool, but I just think Christian Leroy Duncan is just a solid fighter. His main thing is speed. He's very fast. He has really good speed, and I definitely think he could knock out Claudio Ribeiro. I don't see this fight going the distance. I definitely see this fight being under 1.5 rounds. I believe Leroy Duncan, yeah, he's a sizable favorite, minus 305. I'm going to go with him by KO. One of the Bashrats. Javid Bashrat and Ayman Zahabi. Ayman Zahabi? I've always mispronounced his name. He's part of the Zahabis, TriStar Gym, GSP's gym. He's a pretty solid fighter. He's got some solid and slick striking, but not a ton of power, not a ton of pop out of shots. Meanwhile, Javid Bashrat is very similar, has very solid striking, very slick, high volume, good grappling, but not, I say high volume because he keeps like a good pace, but like he's not a knockout guy, and he's not a guy who's going to overwhelm you with like punches and such like that. He has more finishes than his other brother, the older Bashrat. I mean, is he the older? He should be the older Bashrat. He should be the younger Bashrat, actually. I gotta look it up. Hold on. Bashrat. I don't know which one's the younger, which one's the older. This one's my age. Where is it? Where is it? Farid. Oh, no. Farid's younger than me. Oh, man. Okay. Well, yes. So this is the older Bashrat brother. Both guys are very good fighters. Both guys undefeated. And honestly, I don't see these guys losing anytime soon. They will lose, but I just don't think Ayman Zahabi is going to be the guy to take out Javid Bashrat's 0. He is more better with submissions, but ever since coming into the UFC, he's been a decision streak. He's only had decisions since coming to the UFC, and he's only finished weaker competition. Hence why I think it's going to be a decision win for Javid Bashrat, because Ayman Zahabi is not the guy to start getting finishes on. Yes, there's a chance he could get a submission, but Zahabi is very slick with his grappling. I don't think Zahabi's knocking out Javid Bashrat. I think Bashrat's going to get a decision win. Not going over Vinicius Oliveira versus Yanis Gamori. I believe Gamori's out. God, I hate his face. But we will be going over this god-awful fight. This is probably why the Saudi princess said, nah. Eric Anders versus Jamie Pickett. Eric Anders is a minus 500 favorite. Eric Anders should never be a minus 500 favorite. But guess what? Are you going to pick Jamie Pickett? Eric Anders, at the very least, is losing to solid competition. He's losing to guys who aren't that bad, like Marc-Andre Barrou. He's taking out Dawkins. You're knocking out one of the Dawkins brothers. You better knock out one of the Dawkins brothers. He lost to Park. He lost to Moonies. He lost to someone else. He lost to Jotko. Like he's losing to solid guys, but he's just not great. He's got some good grappling, but he's a guy who just leans you up against the fence. It's good as in he can hold you up against the fence. He can hold you up in those clinches. And I've seen him have some pop on his shots. He's had some pop. But the main reason is just, can you pick Jamie Pickett? Jamie Pickett on a 4-fight losing streak, having lost to one of the Dawkins brothers. He lost to Kyle Dawkins. I don't want to say one of the Dawkins brothers. One's a heavyweight, one's a middleweight. He lost to Kyle Dawkins. He lost to Josh Fremd. He fought Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's really good, but Bo Nickel dispatched of him in under 3 minutes. I'm not picking Jamie Pickett. I don't care. I don't want to pick Eric Anders, but I can't freaking pick Jamie Pickett. You lost to Kyle Dawkins. You worse than Kyle Dawkins. You lost to Josh Fremd. Jamie Pickett has got to be one of the worst fighters in the UFC, next to like Shannon Ross, who I think is gone. Jamie Pickett, why are you still here? He's been finished, except for the Fremd fight. He's been finished in his losses. Like, again, Eric Anders is a solid fighter, lost to solid guys. All I've seen from Jamie Pickett is he's got a good right hand. That's all I've seen from him. Eric Anders has, at least is a mixed martial artist. He's a middling one, but he is one. Jamie Pickett, you're a Walmart store manager. I'm sorry. I am sorry, dude. But get that out of my face. I don't even talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm picking Eric Anders by decision. Oh my god, I snorted. I don't normally do that. That was such a bad fight. This fight's not even gonna freaking happen. Matt Schnell's gonna he's gonna pull out. Matt Schnell versus Steve Erceg. Oh man, Matt Schnell. Without even looking, I don't have his stats pulled up. Not looking at it. He has been finished in 6 of his 7 losses. Now, allow me to fact check myself. Has he been finished in 6 of his 7 losses? Oh boy. He's been finished in 6 of his 7 losses. He's been knocked out 4 times and he's been submitted twice. Matt Schnell, yeah, he's got some dog in him. I really love the Sumidarji fight. That was insane. It was an amazing comeback. Choked Sumidarji out. That was insane. Then he got knocked out by Matheus Nicolau. Not a knockout guy. Got submitted by Royval. He got knocked out by Pantoja. There's nothing wrong with that. Lost fine. He's just been getting his ass beat left and right. Simple as that. Steve Erceg is a younger, more hungry guy, and he doesn't pull out of fights because Matt Schnell just loves pulling out of fights. He is very inactive. His last fight was in 2022. He fought 3 times in 2022, at least, but he's not an active guy. Steve Erceg, he's hungry. He wants to get a W. He's a younger guy, and he's on a really good win streak. He's on a very good win streak. He's going to decision for a lot of these, but he's getting some submissions here and there. I want to take Erceg by decision, but just because he's fighting Matt Schnell, and Matt Schnell, he fights to the death. It's just he dies most of the time. I'm going to have to take Erceg by finish, and he's most likely for a submission. I definitely think he's going to really work his jiu-jitsu. Schnell is going to be launching some really good strikes, but elbows are his kryptonite. Sumidarji was just one-tapping him with those elbows. He'd get up and just one-tapped again. So give me Steve Erceg by submission. Dude, what is this? What is this? Umar Nurmagomedov, that's great. That's great. He's a really good fighter. I want to watch him fight. Undefeated. He's ranked fucking 13. Why is he fighting Bekazat Alakman? I did look him up. I did tape him. He's a good fighter. He's not a bad fighter, honestly. It's just that he's not on Umar's level. Umar's 16-0 with multiple UFC wins. Multiple UFC wins and finishes in the UFC. Only 1 decision. This guy, he's 14-1, fighting in Octagon promotion. Oh, he was in UAE Warriors. Okay, I know UAE Warriors. He was in MMA Series 43, Bushido, Kazakhstan. Yeah, no. I doubt the legitimacy of a lot of these promotions. Oh god, he's younger than me too. Yeah. Oh god, he looks like a baby. In the picture, at the very least, he looks like a child. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, can't pull it up there. It's a different browser on. He looks like a child. Looks like a goddamn child. But yeah. Umar Nurmagomedov, the only thing I can think of why this fight is being happened is because he's been out for a while. He did have that disclosed injury. So maybe they're giving him a warm-up or tune-up fight or something of that sort. That's all I could think of. But I don't want to take this. I don't want to take this fight. I'm not taking minus 1100 to fight against an unknown dude when he's coming off a long layoff. Umar Nurmagomedov to win this fight. I'm going to go with submission just because from what I've seen from Bezkat, he makes some mistakes in the grappling realm. Umar can knock him out. He could also go distance because the guy is tough, but again, we haven't seen him up against elite level competition. So Umar is the pick to go by submission. And now the best fight in the card, if it actually happens, because Alex Perez actually pulls out more than Matt Schnell. Alex Perez is the pullout king. Oh man, his pullout game is strong. Yes, Alex Perez versus Muhammad Mokaev. I'm not picking Alex Perez. I will be honest, there's a little bit of bias towards Muhammad Mokaev. I'm high on him. I talk about him a lot. I love watching Muhammad Mokaev. This is a dog. He is a warrior. And Alex Perez absolutely could have beaten Muhammad Mokaev years ago, back when he was hungry, when he was fighting guys. But like, again, even the guy when he was out there hungry and fighting guys, it's not like he was super good. Like, I mean, he was good, but it's not like he was going up against really tough opposition. Like, his best win was Jordan Espinosa or Mark De La Rosa. Like, those are good wins when he had them back in 2019 against De La Rosa. Like, he's so inactive. He's just so inactive. He's fought 3 times in the last 4 years. 3 times in the last 4 years. His last fight was back in 2022 against Pantoja. Yes, he fought the current champion. That's really good. But he was taken out in a little over a minute. He was submitted. Then before they fought Davison Figueiredo 2 previous champs ago, but he was submitted in a little under 2 minutes. Like, that's the thing too. Like, knocked out by Benavidez in a 1 round. He doesn't get past the first round. Like, he's seen the last time he saw a 3rd round was in 2019. Before COVID was a thing. That was the last time he saw the 3rd round. Sure, it's only been 4 fights since then, or it's 5 fights. But he just gets finished. I love taking Muhammad Mokaev by 3rd round submission. I do love that because I've hit on that many times. I think 3 of his last 4 fights I hit on that. Yeah. His last 3 fights I had that. But like, I don't see it with Perez. I think he's gonna finish him in the 1st round. I think he's gonna take him out in the 1st round. Muhammad Mokaev's striking is improved, and you have to kill him. Perez is only live for a knockout in the 1st round, I'd say. But like, beyond that, Muhammad Mokaev's gonna just butcher him. Yeah, he was losing against Elliott, but he didn't lose. Yeah, Filio was ripping his leg off his socket, but he didn't tap. He came back and he submitted him immediately after. Muhammad Mokaev is just the doggest of dog fighters, and I think he's going to take out Perez. I don't think he's ready yet for Pantoja. I want to see 1, maybe 2 more fights for Muhammad Mokaev. I hope they don't fast track him, but I think Perez is a perfect spot for him, a perfect spot to get Perez at the rankings. Homie shouldn't be ranked 7. He really shouldn't, and I think Muhammad Mokaev is going to retire this man. Like, and then looking at Perez too, the reason why I really feel submission is likely is he's been submitted 5 fucking times, man. Give me Muhammad Mokaev rounds 1 submission all day, but the best pick is Muhammad Mokaev finish only. Fight does not go distance. That's all we need to say about this fight. Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. Both dangerous guys. Pedro, all of his wins have been by finish. Petrino, I think it's the same thing. It's not. He has 2 decisions, but 8 finishes. That's 80%, baby. I can do that math. Yeah, this fight's not going to distance. It's not. Tyson Pedro, he's a pretty solid striker. He's really good at his range, and he's got some power. He knocked out Turkogel, or the Pleasure Man, and that was surprising. I did not think the Pleasure Man was going to go out. I thought he was going to get a decision, but man, Pedro took him out. But he's not the best of fighters. He's lost to some pretty crap opposition, and the guy that Tyson Pedro's taking out are not good. No, they're not. Harry Hunsucker, come on. Isaac Villanueva, nah. I'm gonna have to go Vitor Petrino. I'm going to have to go by knockout. Under 1.5 is your best bet for this fight. Give me Petrino by knockout round 1. I don't see it going to round 3. But yes. And now for the main event of the evening. Heavyweight fight between Jairzinho Rozenstruik. If you're familiar with the channel, you know me now. You know I'm not high on Biggie Boy. I'm not high on Biggie Boy. And Shamil Gaziev, he has one fight in the UFC. So what the fuck is this? But yes, heavyweight matchup. Jairzinho Rozenstruik will be 35 years of age, 13 wins, 5 losses, 12 knockouts, not a damn submission. 6'2" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 78-inch reach, advantage. Oh god, I didn't write the reach for Shamil. In fact, actually, Shamil's stats are all wrong. They're all wrong. What happened? I have an old version of the spreadsheet. Okay, apologies. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is orthodox stance, 78-inch reach, disadvantage actually. Shamil Gaziev has a 78.5-inch reach. He has a significant strike accuracy of 51.19%. He is a plus 136 underdog as of now. Significant wins over Augusto Sakai, Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, and Andrei Arlovski. Shamil Gaziev is going to be 32 years of age. Let me get his accurate stats. One moment. Not the best look, but Jesus Christ, man. This is not the best of fight cards. Sorry, he's not even 32. Whose stats are these? Whose stats did I transfer over from my spreadsheet? So Shamil Gaziev is going to be 34 years of age. He has a winning record of 12-0. He has, along with him, 8 knockouts, 3 submissions. He is going to be 6'4" in terms of height, orthodox stance, a 78.5-inch reach, advantage. He has a takedown average of 0. Really? And then he has a significant strike accuracy of 54.92%. He is going to be a minus 160 favorite. Significant wins over Martin Buday, because that's the only damn win he has in the UFC. So, just because the graphics sucks, unfortunately, let's just look at it over here. So Shamil Gaziev, it's his second fight in the UFC, and he's fighting against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who is very experienced, multiple main events. He is an experienced fighter. It's just, I'm getting a little bit of shades or PTSD of Abus Magomedov versus the Apex legend of Sean Strickland, a fighter who I'm like, why does he keep getting headlining events in the Apex? And it's like, seems like a mid fighter, and then now we have this guy who's like this undefeated and legendary prospect going up against him. That makes me hesitant to pick Shamil. I think Shamil should beat him, to be honest with you, because Biggie Boy don't swing. I call him Frozen Strike because he will stand there frozen against you unless you are the older Dawkins brother. Then he will decide to turn it to Francis Ngannou and knock you out. Jairzinho Frozen Strike is an insane, highly credentialed kickboxer. Like, he's got so many kickboxing fights, and his kickboxing fights are pretty good. But when he games in the UFC, just low volume, low output, and frankly, he just doesn't look like he gives a shit. Simple as that. The only times he really looked like he gave a shit was against Dawkins and Overeem, when he chipped Overeem's lip. But again, that was Overeem, not Ubereem. Ubereem probably would have flatlined him. He's been flatlined before by Volkov, absolutely put in a ditch by Francis Ngannou. I don't know how he shows his face after that. I wouldn't. I would have PTSD. I would be like, I don't want to fight anymore after what Ngannou did to that man. He just showed him no respect, and he just started wailing haymakers at him. And if you look back as well, too, if you look back at that fight in slow motion, Francis Ngannou missed most of his shots, hit him with one, and that's what knocked him out. And every shot after, he was already out cold. And he was getting his head bopped around like a freaking pinball. Frozen Strike, he's got power and that's it, but he never goes. Unless you're Dawkins. Shamil Gaziev has power and he's got solid grappling. Granted, we've seen them in... What promotion did he come from? Oh, God. What is it? Eagle FC probably. Brave. Okay, Brave's not bad. Oh well, no. There's Pro FC, Professional Fighting Championship. That is not PFL, Pro FC. Oh, he was at MMA series too. Oh god, he's at MMA series as well. Yeah, no. He knocked out Martin Boudet, which is very solid. That's a good win. And then he submitted Greg Velasco in the Contender Series. Nothing special. I think it's going to be a club and knockout. I think he's going to knock him down the ground because he doesn't take people down. He's going to knock him down the ground, and he's just going to beat on Rozenstruik. He might shoot in for a takedown, take him down pretty easily like Jailton Almeida did, and then just beat him up. I don't think he's going to submit Biggie Boy. I don't know why. I'm just not getting a submission feeling from this, to be honest with you, even though Rozenstruik is very likely a submission and gets submitted by grapplers. He beats guys like Shamil, and that just makes me hesitant to like lay money on him because Shamil's an unknown guy and he doesn't have grappling. Like, he's got some grappling, but he's a club and sub. He's not a wrestler, take you down sub you. But also Rozenstruik, man. I don't know. I have a staunch feeling that Rozenstruik's just not going to go in this fight, and then Shamil's going to beat him up. But I also have a feeling that Rozenstruik's just going to go ballistic out of nowhere. He might go ballistic and get counter. That's a possible likely outcome. I just don't think this is a fight worth betting on. I don't think almost any of these fights are worth betting on, other than if you want to do a god-awful parlay with Umar, Mokaev, and Basharat for probably minus 300 still. Maybe you could put in Petrino to get something nice in there. Petrino under 1.5. Those would be nice. But yeah, this is not a good card for betting. This is not a good card in general. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This card sucks. I really only truly care about the Mokaev fight, and I think the Petrino Pedro fight's gonna be fun, and I think the Ribeiro Duncan fight's gonna be fun. Most of the other fights on here, wow. Thank you, Saudi. Thank you. Thank you, Saudi. But yes, let me know what you think in the comment section below. This has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.